He's just got so good at it at this point in time. He's just lent into his own hype.
So what you're saying is that I should seriously look to restat Vibers so that he's got a phenomenal, the equivalent of a bluff. His command isn't bad, so...
Yeah, it'd be like command and, not appearance, what's the other one again?
Presence.
Presence, thank you.
It should be daring, considering it's lying. Nevertheless, he might be on his way home, but we are connected to the Twitch servers now, so... Right, we will give Davis on the Navis a couple of moments more, but I will send him a message just to make sure. Do-do, 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 do-do. There we go. Oh. What was that, sorry?
I was reading click and... I want to run a Deadlands game.
Oh, I haven't played that in God's age.
I love it.
I like... Go on.
Savage World.
Oh, the Savage Worlds version. Ah, right. I hear that Savage Worlds translates nicely to Pathfinder too. So
It has its own version, yeah.
Savage Worlds has a lot of stuff that's been converted to it. I was surprised to see that Rifts is popular.
Oh, I love Savage.
I know Rifts has always been described as the best game that nobody ever plays because it takes 3 session zeros for you to make your character, at which point you lost all passion for it.
Well,
yeah,
takes all sorts.
Admit, the current game I'm running is in Savage Worlds, and I am enjoying it.
Ah.
Yeah.
I think if anything, I like it better than my previous one, which I was running in Fate Call.
I never could understand that. I wanted to.
Yeah. After it got to the point where I just used the very basic sort of rules and ignored half of the stuff about situational and environmental aspects and just let my players kind of make crap up.
Fate Light was better, I think, for one thing. I tried running too, so...
Yeah.
Which I'd like to get back to at some point, but I've got so many things I'd like to get back to. I don't just have too many.
Yeah.
But in honor of our other shipmate, Jan, who did introduce us to the Sci-fi system ever so briefly.
I like that one too.
Yeah, it's got a lot of versatility. There we are. Hey, Davis. Hello, Davis.
You can talk?
Hey, Davis.
Alright, let me just get on.
No problem then. Whilst you're doing that, I will throw folks over to the intro video and we'll be back in a couple of moments. Folks, don't go away.
No problem.
Hello folks, and welcome to the continuing adventures of the USS Navis. I'm MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the crew of the USS Navis.
Hello.
And,
Greetings.
yes, we're going to be getting pretty much straight into it, I think. But first things first, let me just check that everybody is in, and everybody can access their characters and do everything they usually can. There was one small update recently, but it looks like everybody's got through pretty quickly. It should have asked you what level of potato you have. If it didn't, then it's cached it from previous, which is great.
I should be a premium potato.
Well, I'm afraid I can't make such a declaration. I am a medium potato.
It wants me to be medium potato, but I refuse.
You demand more from your potato. I like it. Potatoes should have standards, or you should have standards about your potato. Yes, absolutely. If we learn nothing else from today's venture, it's that potatoes need to have more demanded of them to get them to perform to their utmost. Where am I going
You could
with
have
this?
blocky potato.
So Bertram grows his own potatoes in peat moss.
You know what happens if you overclock your potatoes? It boils.
Or he just becomes a jacket potato.
And then it
Suddenly,
just turns into
No, you
mash.
just put some butter on it.
just in case folks are
Butter,
thinking about it, we
cheese.
do not actually recommend putting butter on your PCs or your laptops.
I mean, technically, it would work as a heat dissipator off of your CPU.
We were just talking
I'm
about
not
potatoes,
sure,
not
'cause I
CPU.
don't know about its conductivity.
It's got very good
Electricity.
conductivity. It's just it will hold latent heat quite well. And it's got
Alright
a very
then.
low melting point, so it would boil off.
Alright then, so maybe do try butter with your PC. Laptop then, if that chick's getting hot, then put butter on it.
Quickly backtrack, or you're open for court cases in the future. There will be someone that will try it.
Yeah, quite. Let me stop this before I go any further. Actually, now that I think we're getting a bit
This is not
risque.
a source of technical advice.
Can I point out, why am I on my own?
Why are
On the
you on
loading
your own?
page?
Yes, we should.
I'm like 2 squares away from... and Vibers is just 1 square away from Bertram, but I'm 2 squares away from Vibers.
Because if I move you closer, then what we see is...
The names cross over.
Have a shot to name Vibers.
I've got one for the character and one for the symbiont. What more do you want?
Maybe you just take one of them down to a single letter.
Well, I'm just going to say, if you were fired from Starfleet as a whole and didn't have any rank, maybe that would help.
Or you just change captain like you've changed all of the others to the short and
Yeah,
and do
I just
CPT.
noticed that myself.
No, Captain title has to stay as it is.
Nope, you demoted by letters. You have to earn those back.
And also noticed that Admiral Minoko is missing from the loading page as well. It's like he's the Admiral, he should be at the top.
Not
But
by
Loco
character.
doesn't lower himself to come into the landing page. He has millions for that.
That'd be us.
Yes, exactly. That's why. If you keep on bootlicking like that, Edward, someday you'll make lieutenant.
He already is.
See, it worked.
Or I will bust you down to lieutenant so fast your ears will spin.
Your
Easy
ears.
there,
will
Mr. Dr. Brannigan.
I couldn't remember what the exact Simpsons quote was.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Zach Brannigan. It's to do it to Kif. First he promotes him to the same rank, then he threatens to bust him down back to the same
Alright.
rank.
I thought it was Wiggum doing it to Louis.
Ooh. Those are both Matt Groening, so I wouldn't be surprised if he reused
Yeah.
it. But if those could correct it, put it in the comments. Which one
Yes,
it was.
please.
Or both.
Might dig me out of this tangent, which for me is immensely hypocritical. I warrant you, but there we go. All right then, let's start. Thank you. Webby, I've got something for you.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Potatoes.
Words. Potato. Words. No, anyway. Captain's log. Stardate 51108.7. The Navis has been dispatched to assist with the second contact mission with the Katosi. Luckily, the Admiralty has seen fit to assign someone that actually wants to conduct diplomatic negotiations, instead of assigning the task to me. We're en route to the Baton Katos system with a stopover to rendezvous with shuttle carrying our negotiator. Before that, though, we have a special engagement to take part in.
Yes, we do. So let's move this to the ship's lounge.
Oh god.
And it's not loading all that well for me, but let's wait for it. There we go.
It is. I'm just waiting for the hot tub to descend.
Well, as it so happens, this little gathering has been brought together because a certain Lieutenant Orei has just earned his next pip. And it's being awarded by the captain. And so, Lieutenant Liku Orei now becomes Lieutenant Commander Liku Orei.
Thank you.
Captain, I've got a personnel issue to report. This crew member's out of uniform.
Oh no.
Who, where?
Walk towards Orei and make sure that the captain has got the pips.
Very good.
I was looking through all of the flipping ones. I'm like, who's not in uniform?
The captain took it literally and didn't see it for the obvious joke.
I mean, Minoko's only got 2 pips, so Minoko's only a 2 pips, a lieutenant.
Correct. That's what he wants you to think.
Hey, it's a civilian officer according to what you say he is.
And according to his values, he wasn't always a bartender, so...
No one ever said he's a Starfleet admiral.
He's got values?
Of course he does.
I can't see him.
Admiral Minoko?
Hello.
Hello, I get. It's just Minoko's just like, I'm curious about his values. Or is literally just shaken, not stirred.
We're not allowed to see Minoko.
Oh, can you not? Oh, I do apologise.
He's too top secret.
Well, far be it for me to dispute that. If after all he is a fleet admiral, then maybe you shouldn't.
I can't see him on this screen. I can see him when he's on the bridge.
Star Trek Spec Ops. He's a sleeper agent. You never saw it coming.
He's a fleet admiral. Look at me, a cat.
I love it how he's got I love it how he's got the focus of contacts in quotes. Like, in other words, just replace contacts with vibers.
And if you ask Mr. Minoko about it, he will say pretty much what Vibers says every time you approach him with such an accusation.
What? Trust me, I'm an engineer.
Davis?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
No, that's not a hot tub.
I just realised if I click on Orei's got a bigger field of vision than Andrew's.
Well, Andrew's only has one eye.
He can also
it's
because he can smell his prey.
You know that cybernetic needs batteries and they need changed, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Looks like the cyborg needs to go down to the med bay and get her prosthetics examined. Slightly out of phase.
Right, where's
All right.
Commander Riker? There's not like a jazz sax going off in the background.
Well, I thought, if anybody's going to like smooth jazz, it's going to be Orei. Exactly. So, we've got tables full of some of the crew. And, we've got the Bravo brothers with their co-wife, all enjoying a nice chat. We've got Jean over here, Jean Eric with Jenny Eric. Seems Jean is engaged in a conversation with his fellow tactical security guys, but is also got one arm around Jenny and tries to keep pulling her in to sit with him, but she appears to want to stay standing. Because she's currently having a conversation with Nurse Bravo and Lieutenant Bravo of Science.
I mean, something's wrong. I said surely it would be near Dr. Bertram and it should just be wandering over there to talk.
She keeps glancing over at Bertram, but he's trying to make out that she's not, you know.
Let's see. We've got Stevens and Lenny swapping stories. And occasionally Ensign Kirst will cast a glance in Lenny's direction and maybe cast a bit of a jealous look in Stevens' direction too.
Oh my god, the entire crew is coming for... Orei, stop releasing pheromones. Stop it!
Chief Medical Officer's log. I don't know what's wrong with the crew at the moment, but it's like an episode of Battlestar Galactica.
Meanwhile, it appears that Ensign Mariana Cruz is regaling other members of the crew with some kind of story, and as soon as she stops and everybody breaks out into a laugh.
Oh, she's going on about how she's got a war wound. I'm like, oh, war wounds, hi!
So, at the moment you're on free time.
Woohoo!
So what would you like to do?
Latude's around other people, that's unlike him.
Latude is very much sat at his table. He doesn't seem to like being so close to other people, but if you notice, he's the opposite end of the room pretty much on a very small table from what's going on over here with the award ceremony for Orei's new rank. And even though there is a conversation going on, Nurse Barony is very much engaged in the conversation with Cruz and the others. Latude is just on his own, drinking.
Is he cursing the day that we installed the lounge with transport inhibitors so he could have his easy way out?
No, as it turns out, he's just staring into his drink. So, overall, Nova is getting very big party vibes here. Everybody seems to be pretty much enjoying themselves. There's a couple of... those who are empaths can detect a couple of notes of annoyance or slight sullen despondence.
Well, who would that be?
Other than that, everybody seems to be having a grand old time. Nurse New Teeth is standing around, kind of awkwardly watching everything, but Science Officer Rai Alex is trying to keep her engaged in some form of conversation.
Is Ray Alex sort of like looking like his eyes have glazed over and that he's going to pass out soon from someone injecting sort of like a sedative into his neck? Like, this is a fascinating conversation, officer.
If that's what you think Nurse New Teeth is going to do every time.
I think she's a nut job, so yeah, we've proven she's unstable.
Have we? Okay. So, Commander Orei.
Hello.
Well, you're at a table with your other high rankings, main characters, so...
Any speech you want to give to the crew on your promotion?
And the passcode to your room doesn't count as a speech.
I was going to free uses of any hot tub.
Captain to medical room. Be prepared for extensive decontamination of all crew.
He's for everyone.
Holiday deck 3 is now the hot tub deck.
Just flood the entirety of deck 10. Oh no, we can't flood deck 10 because that's where the flipping.
Deck 10, the entertainment deck, yes.
Yeah, the entertainment deck, but also the Bifrost drive.
That's deck 9.
Deck 9, sorry. Yeah.
I do not know give a random deck that's full like wall to wall of hot tubs. So if it ever takes a breach and they all like sucked into space, it will cause so much confusion to the attackers. It's the whole we're picking up so these tile objects coming out of the hole. What the heck?
There's an awful lot of water coming out of there. Soapy.
Why do I
You
get
mean
the
you
feeling-
don't use them as plated armor?
Why do I get the feeling that somewhere a Vorta has been executed by a founder for bringing back stolen plans to the Navis? It says they're clearly fake. They don't have an entire deck dedicated to being a hot tub, do they?
Aha. The best way to fake out the Dominion. That was Orei's plan all along. Who knew? I'd like to thank the hot tubs and pheromones that made this possible. Here. So, yeah, Orei, Orei and Nova by proximity, not for the first time, feels a twang of, what's the embarrassment coming from Lieutenant Mono. One thing that has been part and parcel of your tenure, of Orei's tenure on the Navis, has been, as soon as Orei started with his, how do I diplomatically put this? His pastime, his very personal, private pastime that he shares with everybody else. One thing Orei noticed very early on was that Mono started getting very uncomfortable around him, and he's never really articulated why. But whenever Orei has mentioned some of his exploits in Mono's company, Mono always turns bright red and finds an excuse to be out of the room as quick as possible.
I wondered why he kept on turning up to more Moss lectures.
This is the only
Hiding
person
in
that
the
led
lectures.
religiously.
Oh yes, and sorry to interrupt, but as far as frequent trips to sickbay goes, Mono has nothing on Keshan. So, Orei just turns up at Mono's table. What's he gonna do? What's my just going, hey,
How you
Mon-
doing?
Mono. Sorry, go on.
So, I'm detecting that you're not feeling great. Is something about this making you uncomfortable? I'm sure you're about to make rank very soon yourself.
As soon as Orei mentions that, he gets a very big twinge of annoyance from Mono. But he does go kind of pink around the ears. No, Commander. It's fine. It's all fine. Like I keep telling you, your personal business is very much your personal business. No matter how many times you try and make it everybody else's business.
You know, I think you're right. I need to work on my professionalism. It's just in my culture, we share these things freely, and
Oh wow.
I think cultures don't.
Oh well, you sure do like to share. I will say that much, sir. Yes, indeed. It's been a it's been an eye-opening, eye-popping, educational experience for sure.
Human?
Yeah.
I mean, do I like culturally? Is he like super religious or like?
What? You've never asked him, really.
Oh, well, I was wondering what seems to be the source of your discomfort in my stories, if I could ask.
And he looks around nervously at everybody else, and you notice everybody else at the table, except for Nurse Newteeth, are engaged in their own conversation all of a sudden, but with sidelong glances going on at what's going on between Orei and Mono. You very much get the impression that these guys here are now very aware that this is an awkward conversation and are trying to make it look as if they're engaged in their own thing and not listening in.
Do the rest of us notice what's going on?
If you're looking in that direction, then yeah, sure.
Liku would pick up on that. And he would say, want to apologize.
Just like, yeah, I think that definitely there'd be a look between Andrews and Fibers, just like.
6 Rigelian sunburst for the science table. Make him green. Yes,
In
Liku's
fact, run
definitely picking up.
interference as well, and sort of like perhaps sort of like Ensign Cruz would like to regale her stories to some of the science team that's there.
In which case she just goes, "Oh, okay, cool," and beckons the guys over. In which case they're more than willing to get up from their table.
And now there's just 6 Regilian sunbursts appearing on the table with.
Nurse Nuteeth, however, just sits down and goes, "Well, it would be a shame to let these drinks go to waste. Do continue." Mono is now going very red in the ears. Oh, sir, I couldn't possibly ask you to do something that's entirely counter to your culture. It's just, well, you see, I was brought up on the Arbazan homeworld, and, in the Arbazan culture, sex is very much a taboo topic. The moment he says the word sex, he goes red in the cheeks very, very brightly.
Oh, he's prude.
Well, anybody who knows anything about the Arbazans know that they are a very prudish society. I mean, you couldn't get much more sexualized than this music right here. I mean, it's as if you want to put everybody in the mood, and nobody would get any work done, and you know, it's just not seemly. That's all I'm saying. I personally just don't know why you would want to know about other people's you know, those bits of people's is it hot in here? It's getting really warm in here. Maybe the environmental systems are on the fritz. I should This is Let's talk about those hollow emitters. Yes. I feel the need to talk about hollow emitters. At which point Nurse Nuteeth jumps in. I fail to see how hollow emitters has anything to do with a Deltan's sexual prowess.
There's constrained cackles from the bar.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like over here. Like, there's definitely Andrews is kind of listening in on this.
So, how many of you are stifling a laugh? Sorry, I talked over you there, Gareth. Go on.
I said, whatever Bertram's concentrating on, it's probably not this conversation. He just finds it wrong.
He's currently got a pen and paper out writing his next Moss lecture.
I believe in a few minutes he's about to taste something wrong with his next sea moss tea, and then probably go to Monoko and say, "Is this replicated? The taste's not right."
No comment. No, from my corner of the bar, I do try and wave over Ikron and Stevens and see if I can get Edward's attention.
Orei saying, we're attempting to shift focus in order to better protect Mr. Mono's dignity. And which poor Nurse Nuteeth goes, dignity? I am quite certain that Lieutenant Orei's dignity has nothing to do with his sexual prowess, and neither does he yours.
Nurse Nuteeth, would you care to join us at this table and discuss about your endeavours as being a A Romulan Vulcan serving in Starfleet.
If that is what you wish to
so
discuss, sir, I
strange.
will be more than happy to. Please excuse me.
Yes. Oh boy, thank you.
Meanwhile, at the bar.
Yeah.
So, Edward, Stevens, Ikran's been telling me that we need to sort out a new engineering second, and you two are the top 2 candidates. We're going to be evaluating your performance over the next few weeks, and then we'll make a decision on which of you get promoted to the role.
Sting. Well, says Chief Engineer Bravo, Ikra. I'll confess it is a bit of a sticky decision. Mr. Edwards has proven himself on more than one occasion and has been on the crew for quite some time. However, Lieutenant Stevens was brought over onto the crew and was already a lieutenant, so she has technically had more experience. But that being said, the whole reason that Mr. Edwards was brought on board was because, well, he had more experience outside of Starfleet and therefore brought a different perspective. So it really is anybody's ballgame at this point.
Yes, make sure you assign them all sorts of things to push them a little bit, and we'll see how it. And we'll catch up on this in a couple of days. Either of you have comments you want to make on this situation while we're here? Or can I go and enjoy my large drink?
By all means, don't let me. Don't let us interrupt your drink, Commander. Lenny actually leans over at Edwards and goes, "Hey, if you ever don't manage to make it, then you can always try seconding Helm with me."
He might even let you sit in Caval's chair.
Hey, it's my chair now. I earned that chair.
Takes a glass of very suspicious-looking green ale and walks off.
Note to self: transfer helm control to captain's chair.
Hey, Edwards, did I ever tell you about that time that I actually performed a successful barrel roll maneuver around the pulsar? In just a runabout.
No, you haven't, sir.
You don't have to call me sir, for heaven's sake. We're the same rank now. Come on, we enjoy the same privileges.
Still adjusting, I'm afraid. I didn't
Adjusting.
think the captain would ever give me that chance.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think she was going to give me the chance to be Chief Helm Officer either, so, we must be doing something right.
Indeed.
Or maybe it was that...
Something.
Andrews would probably be coughing at a drink.
Captain, are you in need of medical assistance?
Captain, you know it is rude to eavesdrop on all of the conversations going on, especially if you're this obvious.
Oh, that's it, of course. That side of her head's been replaced, so she's got super hearing in her bionic ear.
Now, I'm just generally trying to not pay much attention to Bertram's constant writing and just like, yes, and also trying to.
Actually, Bertram doesn't actually have a pad to write in on. Actually, quite unusual. Someone may have suggested to him that he needs to work on his social skills, so not writing down sort of notes about his current projects is actually what he considers to be a step in the right direction psychologically.
So are we saying that at this table it's Nurse Nuteeth and Dr. Bertram who are swapping very boring stories about medical procedures?
Well, technically Andrew's asked her over to talk about the unique sort of like, well, almost unique...
Oh yes, being Romulan Vulcan.
Hybrid. Yeah, so she's talking about it, and Bertram may be typing in with like interesting studies he's read about nature versus nurture, and asking if Latif had any insights for how she's lived her life.
What were you going to
What's
say?
the relationship with the Klingons again?
What was he going to say, Webby?
And I think Nova is definitely getting from the opposite side of the table this board. Fascinating, yes, definitely.
I think Nova would be trying to read Natisse and like probably getting it wrong because like, you're bored, you're agitated.
So there's such loud board signals coming from Andrews that Nova is straining to try and to listen in to Natith's, and of course trying to read a Vulcan's emotions is like, well, looking at a white plasterboard and expecting it to do something. But well, as far as nature versus
Sometimes
nurture,
it does.
as far as your question about nature versus nurture, Doctor, I do believe that a vast majority of my discipline can be accorded not only to my Vulcan upbringing, but also to the fact that I was brought up in a military academy.
I see. So, obviously it's a difficult question to ask, what if questions, but do you feel that your personality over the years might be shaped differently if you've been brought up on Vulcan but not in a military academy, say a scientific academy or maybe the arts?
I believe, due to my dual nature as both a Vulcan and a Romulan, I would more than likely have faced a great deal more academic frustration than I did were I not brought up inside of the military academy. Understand, it was my father who was a Romulan, and I was therefore orphaned at a young age. If it was not for the military academy and my ability to prove my aptitude for medicine, I believe I would have been a lot less accepted. Vulcan, for all of its advancements, still views those of a dual breed as something less.
The Vulcans have many innate qualities, but the ability to adapt quickly, especially on a sociological level, has traditionally not been one of their more notable qualities. They tend to take time, sometimes generations, to come round to what they would consider to be radical ways of thinking. At least that's the way I understand it.
Generations is a bit of an interesting term.
Indeed, especially when you compare it to that of a Trill or a much longer-lived Vulcan.
Well, it's interesting.
Generation is about 80 to 100 years, right?
Well, it's kind of funny. Well, funny is the wrong word. Interesting. We've been up the Trill. I was always under the impression, admittedly, I could be wrong. So apologies if I'm way off target here. But I always figured that the longer-lived Trill symbionts, one of the reasons that they might take on hosts, other than to essentially have a partnership to interact with the world a bit more easily on the physical level, is to get different insights and different experiences to mold and shape their personality. I sometimes figured it might be comparable to the different stages in, say, a human, for example. They have different experiences and different ways of insight, say, in each decade. So someone in their 20s might see the world one way, and then to some outsiders, especially who aren't seeing the gradual adaptation and development, might seem as almost a completely different person in their 30s. What do you think, Commander?
Fits in with much of what Vibers has experienced. Though there was a bit of conversation at the Trill Institute when I was last there, they weren't too happy about having two hosts in the same profession. An interesting problem. Yeah, they were concerned about the symbiont getting bored.
Interesting. You would imagine that a symbiont with that much knowledge would be more specialized and therefore able to excel.
You say that, but part of the point of having different hosts is to change the experience. So you have more specialisms, more knowledge in more areas.
Interesting.
As you know from Vulcan science, a lot of the most interesting bits is when people from different professions collaborate. What would happen if you were the expert in both?
At this point, Nova, Orei, and anybody else gets a very strong blast of rather heated emotions coming from the second side of the room, as the Erics appear to be having something of an argument.
Who's having an argument?
Jenny and Jean Eric.
So please say you've sorted out the
What's the doctor done now?
problem with the Erics. Have you in the surgery or not? Has that not come up yet?
What problem? It's one of them having medical issues I should be known about.
Captain, I think this one needs to be on you. I'm
Oh
going.
no, I think I'm running out of drink myself.
Nope, Vibers is gone. Back to the bar.
Am I missing something?
No, doctor.
The Erics are still having something of a discussion, at which point Jenny goes out the door. Jean just puts his hands down and just slumps.
Jane, what have you done now?
Yes.
Me, sir? Nothing, sir. If you don't mind, sir, I'd like to... I need to get some air, sir. If I can be excused.
Sort that out before you sleep.
Nova and Orei. Everyone else is even the Bravos are minding their own business, so they're very much trying to not concentrate on what's going on. But whilst you're getting vibes from everybody else of, ooh, that was awkward, there's one person in this room that has now suddenly got jumped with the emotion of satisfaction.
Who's that? It's
I
Bertram.
just stuffed you down. So
You can't tell beneath his face mask, but from the emotion coming off of him, you could swear Keshan was grinning from ear to ear. And then he just continues to be involved in the conversation that Ensign Cruz is the story that Ensign Cruz is telling.
So, Doctor,
Yes.
there is a rumor going round certain levels of the ship that Miss Eric might be developing an attraction towards you, which is causing tension within the relationship of Mr. and Mrs. Eric, as you can quite imagine.
Bertram kind of like looks at the captain confused for a few minutes and said, well, I've seen no indication of that. Are you sure it's just not baseless ship gossip?
Just choking on that one a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely like swilling a bit more of the drink. I'm like,
I noticed Orei had the condition of hovering there for him. I didn't get that initially. Sorry, Mike, I missed that.
just because you haven't spotted it, Doctor, doesn't mean that other people haven't spotted it.
Well, she hasn't said anything.
Doesn't like this.
Nova and Orei are definitely getting big waves of "Ooh, this is awkward" from Andrews.
Like... oh gosh.
No,
Captain, is there something that you want me to actually do, or is this just to make you aware conversation?
It's just to make you aware. However, it may be worthwhile if you were to lighten off on using Miss Eric to support on your research and advise. Oh, which way around is it? I can't remember which. He's lieutenant, isn't he?
They're both ensigns, I do believe.
They're both ensigns, yeah. It may be worthwhile advising Mr. Eric that you're more interested in your research than you are in companionship.
Okay, Do you want me to actually arrange a conversation, or is this just something that the next time I happen to be talking to him, I should bring it up?
For a psychologist, this guy has no tact, does he?
Like,
It's not that I'm unaware of the concept of companionship as you call it. It's just that I've never really thought about it. It's just not something that I've ever had any interest in. Is this really that big a deal?
to Mr. Eric, it is.
Mossosexual. Thanks, Mike.
I am happy to have to arrange a conversation with Ensign Eric on your behalf if you wish, Doctor.
I suppose this is something I should actually grapple myself. At some point more convenient, I'll call him over and I'll try to explain that whatever this gossip is going around, it's got no basis in reality.
Thank you, Doctor.
Captain?
Well, I need another drink.
Why was Keshin so satisfied, though?
Yeah, indeed.
So
I love you've got the wrong end of the stick, it's actually been him.
I say, if Nova was reading Bertram's emotions at that point, he's kind of got the emotions of someone that's like, I always thought this was just something, this sort of drama was just something that they played up in hollow novels. This happens in real life.
The nonchalance of it all, like, what? This doesn't happen to me.
People are weird.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrews is just going to kind of stand up at the bar and just look at Mono, look at Vibers, sort of like look towards where Vibers is, and just sort of like, like the I know face. So that he picks up the bottle on the right hand side, not the left hand side.
Okie dokie. Anything else anybody else wants to do while they're here? Okay. Nope.
Vibers is doing the whole bouncing around it. By the end of the event, he's had a chance to have a talk with everybody, even if it's just a hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, similarly, Andrews will also be trying to suss out crews.
Okay.
So while at the bar, just listening to the kind of what's going on in it all. Because there's that level of suspicion and mistrust.
You've got that one, and Vibers has got the... You put me in charge of the crew while you're in charge of the ship. I actually need to talk to them, and this is a really good chance without them sitting in the conference room that I've pinched as an office for paperwork.
That's why we can't get in the conference room anymore.
What are you on about? We've got 3 of them on this ship.
That's why we can't get in the conference rooms anymore.
Why do you need that many conference rooms?
Why would
Have you not looked at how big this ship is?
Yeah, there's a crew complement of about... Well, the Enterprise has got about 4,000, hasn't it?
We've got senior crew up here and bridge crew. So everyone on here is either senior attached to a department or work on the bridge. Or they're part of Orei's department because of his promotion ceremony.
So the Enterprise D had an active crew of 907 to 1,012, which also includes families. But they can accommodate between 1 and 6,000.
Now, this isn't a Galaxy class, it hasn't got quite the same amount of civilian capacity, but it's still a hefty ship in the same kind of range, so the amount of active crew is probably more or less the same. Sorry, Shaun, what was that?
We also traded a lot of room for torpedo storage.
There's
we
that
did.
too. The entirety of Deck 9 is pretty much taken up with the Bifrost drive, so...
And the rest is torpedoes. Which is really inconvenient. Nowhere near the main torpedo launch.
Yeah, but we just have an automatic transporter. We can transport within the ship with shields up, you know.
So, is Orei going to be doing anything else whilst the celebration is ongoing? Because he's pretty much got everybody offering to get him a drink at some point in time, so...
Well, you know, after his awkward encounter with Mono, I think he would just go back to his quarters and review his project notes.
Ah, good point. And yes, Mono seems more than keen to get out of that conversation himself, so it's okay. Back to work, eh, sir? I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm not right there with you like that. I mean, I'm gonna be in my office whilst you're in your office, and God, he just walks off before he puts his foot in his mouth any further. Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to do? Latude?
Would you call that colour scarlet or more of a rogue red? Looking at my nose as he's walking out.
Latude just looks up at Mono walking away. Looks up at Vibers, and Mono's glazed-eyed. Oh, sorry, Kay. I didn't notice you were there. The color of my drink is amber. I think you call it.
Enough for 10, and I'd go.
I'm
bed.
fine, sir. I'm fine. I just need to be here for a bit longer, then I'll call it quits. If you don't mind.
Right. If you fall over, we're gonna have to get the medical people to use the transporter to get you back, and I'd be careful with that.
It's fine. Nurse Barony's over there, and I'm pretty sure somebody's looking for an excuse to get Nurse Nateeth to do something other than talk. I'm fine. There's plenty of medical personnel here.
Okay, he's obviously found the good stuff.
I'll tell you, haven't you been hiding that for a special occasion?
Well, we
And
know
we're
how.
here for...
Oh, good point, actually, yeah.
Come on, they've developed the Vibers Latude protocol together.
He's found half my stashes, I know that already.
That you know
Well,
of.
a third of the stashes were shared anyway, because it makes it easier.
Okay. Milling around with the Vibers... No, sorry, pardon me, the Vibers? Vibers milling around with the Bravos is, which includes Fizal herself, yields a pretty one-sided conversation, as it often does. Unless Vibers is actually there looking for anything in particular.
Nope, just bouncing around listening. So,
Cool.
anything anyone else is covering while we're here?
Fiesel's is doing the same thing she usually does, which is talking about why she loves science so much, which, you know... Who promoted Edwards? You did, sir. I like that. Okay. A little time later, we catch up with... Where are we? Just load the transporter room. Contrary to what this indicates, we do not have Mr. Luchude here. We have a standard science transport officer. You have made contact with the shuttle delivering the person who's going to be doing the diplomatic negotiations, and so...
Romulan ale should be illegal.
It is!
We don't have Romulan ale on board, do we, Commander?
Not anymore. Come back, get around, Captain.
The evidence has been drunk.
There's an advantage of being a cyborg. Your metabolism's faster.
At which point, an Edosian walks off of the transporter pad. Captain Andrews, Commander Vipers. Nice to finally meet in person. I'm Captain Elnath, and I'll be taking over the second contact mission that you've got going on with the Kaitosi.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Good to be here. I understand that you requested Federation diplomat, so here I am. Nothing much to report, really, and he hands over a pad. Kaitosi are going to be entering into negotiations as part of a potential membership world of the Federation, but as part of their conditions of membership, the Navis is being asked to help get rid of a large swarm of subspace mines that were put in and around their system as part of a defense against an enemy who were a neighboring system. Unfortunately, that conflict saw the neighboring system destroyed by their own weapons, unfortunately, which Kaitosi have been paying for. No problem, Mike. The Kaitosi have been paying for their part in that war as well, and the subspace mine clearance is part of the deal of joining the Federation. So that's what you're going to be tasked with. Something that I'm sure your crew is more than up to. It is going to take some time to clear. We're talking an entire star system's worth of hidden subspace mines in the area. But, should be doable. They've given us the specifications of the subspace resonance of said mines, so it should just be a case of attuning your sensors to detect them, and to then going through the motions of disarming each and every one of them. I leave it up to you whether or not you want to try doing it in bulk, or if you want to scan for them one at a time just to be safe. Entirely your prerogative, Captain. Whereas mine is getting the Kaitosi to the Federation's table. That's about it.
Sounds like an interesting challenge we've got here, Captain.
Which one? The Kaitosi are the ones that are the militant ones, aren't they?
They are semi-militant, yes, sir. They were just as involved in this whole debacle with their neighbors as their neighbors were. It was almost mutually selfish, mutual destruction. But the Kaitosi lucked out, and I think they realize that. So they're willing to set aside their formerly warlike ways and open diplomatic negotiations with us. So here I am. Well, everything else is in the data package right there. Could I be shown to my diplomatic quarters, please?
Of course. Follow me, Captain, and I will show you the way.
I was about to offer if Vibers looks unsteady, is that I would accompany him to the.
Oh, in which case I'll leave you to that one if you jump in.
Just looking over, sort of like, is
Captain.
Vibers kind of like rubbing the bridge of his nose, etc. You know.
Yeah. And pressing against something that might be a temple or a spot.
After 3 lifetimes of adventure, I would imagine if someone's able to cope with a hangover.
He can cope with a hangover. It's just sometimes you know it's not worth pushing yourself with some of them, especially when it's well deserved.
Okay.
Allow me, Commander. You can report this to the rest of the bridge crew. I will escort the captain to his quarters.
Thank you very much, Captain. Alrighty. So, Captain Elnath is shown to his quarters, and it takes a day or so to reach the system that you are going towards, the Baten Kaitos system. You are advised to take a specific path through the system because it is the safe path to go through in order to not hit any subspace mines. You get to the point where you can safely let Captain Elnath take a shuttle straight to the planet, the 5th planet in the system, which, as it happens, the habitable planet is the outermost planet, which means it takes a little less time to navigate your way through the system than it otherwise would, but the mines do slow you down. But as soon as Captain Elnath is off ship, you can go about doing the somewhat slow and methodical task that is identifying the subspace mines and deactivating them, one or a couple at a time. But
Mr. Edwards, I have a problem I'd like you to investigate.
Yes, Commander.
Doing these mines one at a time is taking forever. Can you find a way to do it to get us through them a bit quicker and safely?
Full spread quantum torpedoes across the entire space star system.
I'm not gonna lie. When you first mentioned how do we get these quicker, that was like my first idea of to just explosion in the center mass, watch, and then stay away.
What's that? We destabilized your orbit. Well, we got rid of the mines. We did the job you asked us to do.
I basically, yeah, the first thing we start studying the mines and actually work out how they actually go off. Specifically, like what kind of weapon is it, and then start that way of being able to maybe render them as duds.
in which case, I would like you all to accompany me to engineering. But I will say that one of the other people probably just as qualified, if not more so, to help with getting rid of subspace mines.
Unit, hello.
Well, I was thinking Nova just as much. Since infiltration is her thing. But, nevertheless, it looks like the main sensor array is going to have to be modified. So, you've got the specifications. It's now a case of modifying the sensors to detect them as good as possible, which probably means shunting a good amount of power to the sensors, which is why Nova should be involved, as well as the main engineering crew themselves, of course. So, I also realised that this was probably Vibers's assignment to Edwards to see if he can win the second position.
If that's the
Pretty
case,
much.
then Nova would let Edwards lead, see what he does.
Okay, well said. How do these mines specifically work? What is their payload?
Well, it seems that they are designed to hide in subspace until they detect a passing ship, and then latch onto it and explode.
What is the type of... Well, what is it... what type of explosion is it? Is it something a bit more rudimentary? Is it like plasma?
It's not as advanced as something the Federation has, to be sure. It's certainly the same kind of payload as a photon torpedo.
Okay. but not the same material.
No. It's made out of materials that you find in this system, or in this neighborhood of systems. Certainly.
So it sits in subspace until something comes near. So part of me would think we'd want something that can match the frequency that they're out and be able to pull them out and actually be able to lead them to further away and detonate them at once. That's what I'm starting to think.
Interesting.
But that's the only way I could think of doing it quicker. It'd have to be somewhere where it can't do damage, but get enough of them in a spot. So maybe not all of them at once, but be able to take clumps of them, kind of thing. Maybe tractor beams on specifically attuned on the small ships we have, as well as the Navis. Once we've got them out of subspace, that is.
Okie dokie. Nova is detecting a slight bit of weary emotion from Stevens at the moment. Stevens is looking like she's trying to just do her look like she's just doing her job, but she's keeping a very close eye on what's going on over here.
Any suggestions, Lieutenant Stevens?
Webby? Stevens is your character.
Bah.
Surprised she got found out so quick.
If they are mines, they will have a residual gravimetric resonance, will they not? Perhaps we could modify the scanner to... Well, perhaps we could modify the deflector to pulse out and generate a three-dimensional astrometric map of wherever there are gravimetric disturbances within the solar system.
I see what Nova's doing, actually. This is quite cunning. She's pitting them both against each other.
It's more interesting than following the book.
Now, here's where I will always fall down against Webby, because I don't know the science as much for Star Trek.
Well,
so
I liked your idea, so...
The science doesn't matter. The ideas you're coming up with and how you want to do it.
Well,
the other one is, you're doing leadership type things. You can go, right, I want to do this. You, over there, I've given you a name.
There's a good point.
Go do that.
How are they staying in and moving through subspace by themselves? What type of... is it based off like a frequency? Do they detect like some sort of electromagnetic field of the ships, or just a type of shield? How do they actually know when to pop out? Actually, going through the schematics, looking for actually what triggers them specifically, because conventional. Well, you've got the different type of mines, different things set them off. So, look like anti-infantry.
Sorry, I just read what Shaun wrote there.
Yes,
nice.
Yes, but it's still like how they come in and out, because we want to do it at a safe distance.
Who said anything about safe?
That is actually a genius idea. If we actually are able to find out what does it, we could theoretically, with enough small shuttles and more runabouts and the main two we have, the Carpathia and Carpathia
right.
and the Samson, we could actually form that type of net with to pull them out. Just like interlocking. I don't want to say pulses, but something along that line. That type of grid formation, so we can actually literally scoop them up and pull them out of whatever actually attracts them. So if we're able to like overlaying lines of what does it, that could be used as to grab them in chunks.
Nice.
Sorry, when you said that was actually quite genius.
No, that's...
I don't know if you
Bravo.
intended for that, Shaun, but if you...
So I do it.
Yeah.
So Stevens is now quietly fuming. Damn it, why didn't I think of that?
I mean, I was getting there, but no, that you've put it more literal. That's genius. But yeah, so it's just going through the minds, basically working out how they do that and be able to replicate that with the runabouts.
Reason and engineering, then, please.
I'm going to so it'll be focus of experiment technology because we're going to be definitely having to throw something together that's not in our normal remit.
Okie
Or is
dokie.
that a bit of a stretch? No, that was a
Sounds
request.
I'll let you use communications for this because you're looking for frequencies of.
Good point, actually. Yeah. Oh, in that case, oh, it's a determination, isn't it? Ignore that. I'm not going to burn determination on that.
I'd like to be throwing that around.
Okay. Wow, okay then. Alright. Oh. Okay. Okay. Alright then. So, using a blanket approach, yes, you've found the subspace frequency on which they operate. They hide in... it seems that the two warring systems came about with the idea of the method of faster than light travel more or less the same time. There's some suggestion to link them both culturally, almost like Vulcans and Romulans. There was a split at some point, and in their early days of space travel, and they both evolved along different lines. But because they were neighbours in star systems, of course, differences flared and they became enemies. So their technologies were very similar. As such, the subspace layer they hid in was also the subspace layer they used to make their warp engines, essentially. So all of these mines operate looking for a certain frequency shift. Warp engines that look into a specific subspace realm to bend their physics. Which means that you control for those and start dragging them out in bulk. As for that complication, well, we'll get to that. However, in the meantime...
Her mistake shouldn't affect my final grade.
It absolutely does.
I like it. Delegating responsibility from the get-go. Nice. Alright. We're going to jump now to like an hour or so later whilst the operation is underway, and Vibers is in his quarters and hears the sound of somebody pressing the bell for his door. Speedy it up.
Enter.
Why do we have the scat man as the
Because if I tried actually doing it, the noise reduction software would edit me out. So.
I just really want you to open the doors now. It says,
Wait, hang on. I found it.
Evening, Lieutenant. What can I do for you?
It's a skibbity toilet.
I am now going to scat the the Navis intro music every time over the actual intro video. But nevertheless, Lieutenant Mono walks into Vibers', that's difficult to say, quarters.
Hey, knows.
Could I have a word, Commander?
Of course. What seems to be the problem, Lieutenant?
Can I sit down, sir?
Yeah, grab a seat. Coffee?
Thanks. No, thank you.
Just down on the commander's bed. Turn the lights down low.
Fine. Mono realizes where he's sitting, gets a bit red in the cheeks, and then sits on an actual chair. Sorry. I'm here about Lieutenant Commander Orei, sir.
Okay. What seems to be the problem?
Well, not a problem per se, sir. It's more, well, I've been co-head of science for a long old time now, and I think I've done a pretty good job at it. And so, if Lieutenant Orei's leaving, then I would very much like the chance to be actual head of science now, please. I was co-head underneath Lieutenant Natala, and, well, now that Lieutenant Orai's going to Earth, I thought it would be a good time to talk about my promotion.
At this point in time, I haven't got any other candidates for the role who are looking for it. And you are one of the better ones suited for the role at the time. I could put you forward for that, or would you rather I put you forward for running your own department on a new ship? It's your choice.
Oh, I'd very
Want
much...
to know whether you...
The nerve of Mono, says Mike. I'd very much like to put forward for staying on the Navis, sir. I mean, I've put in my time here. I'd very much like to stay. I mean, I know everybody here, and I'd like to think that with...
This wasn't a pushing you away. It's something we're supposed to offer anyone going to head a department, because sometimes it's hard to make the change.
Oh, I see. No, I think it's good. I mean, I've been helping both Natala and Orei out for a while now, so I like to think everybody here knows me in a capacity as co-head of science. And, you know, since Orei is being headhunted by Starfleet Science, and, you know, I think...
Right, I'll put your name forward to the captain, then.
Thank you.
I've given an interesting challenge to Lieutenant Edwards to get him looking at something going up to your current role, but for engineering.
Oh, I see.
If you can give him a hand with that, see if there's anything he needs from the science department. It'll look good when I put your name forward to the captain.
You want me to oversee or mentor him, or...
I don't want you to oversee a mentor, because I want him to lead this one. But make sure he's aware your department is here and able to help.
I see. Sure. It'll, like I'm guiding in the new bloods, even though he's not
Guiding
a new
in the new blood. You know. You know what they do with the academy cruises. You put the ensigns in a position they can't. You put them in leadership positions and teach them what they need to do.
God, Webby, that's harsh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I ask, sir, that next time we get any Deltons, can we ask that they... Can we seriously ask that they behave themselves?
I apologize.
He did apologize, sir. But
that was entirely within your remit to make us aware of this problem. Make me aware of this problem earlier, and then we could have done something about it.
Sir, it's embarrassing.
This is part of being in Starfleet. You have to deal with the cultural mismatches.
Yes, sir. I'm sure you're right, sir. It's just... Where I grew up, people really didn't talk about this kind of thing. In fact, it was always one of those best left unmentioned things. I got teased about it no end at the academy. It's just...
I understand more than you think.
I imagine someone like you has got a lot of experience. Not that I'm saying you have a lot of experience suggesting that, you know, you sleep around, but not that it's a problem.
With multiple
if you do.
lifetimes, experience is something you collect of many varieties. What I was actually referring to were the act of joining and gaining more experience than you had before.
Please
and
understand,
having
sir.
to handle that change.
Please
You're
understand,
going
sir.
to have-
I don't mean to sound as if I have anything against Lieutenant Orei, Lieutenant Commander Orei being a Deltan.
You don't.
I really don't.
Fine. Right. Never said you did, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
But you do need to learn how to deal with your own cultural hang-ups and the others. I
As you
would
say, sir.
recommend you ask the doctor about getting a couple of therapy courses in.
Oh, God.
Because
With Bertram?
No, the doctor can arrange them for you. He doesn't have to host them. We
Oh,
have
thank
a
God.
holodeck for a reason.
Oh, my God.
One moss culture and loves another moss culture. They hug each other in a special way.
I was just going to say photosynthesis happens.
Photosynthesis happens, and 9 months later, there are 3 moss colonies.
The doctor would probably find
dear.
describing the sexual
Bertram is
process
hysterical.
technically.
So, I would recommend you talk to Bertram and get yourself signed up for a couple of therapy sessions to deal with these hang-ups.
Very well, sir. I will do my absolute best, sir. And I would like it stated in the record that I do believe that Lieutenant Commander Orei is an incredible science officer and runs rings around me. In fact, I'm just surprised he can think of anything but say... Oh, God, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to go now, sir.
Please report to sickbay on your way and get that sorted.
Yeah,
Get yourself
yeah.
booked in.
Thank
This sounds
you,
like
sir.
something you need to get sorted out before I have to make a note of it in your file because you've insulted a foreign dignitary.
Right, yes. I am so sorry, sir. I will... Yeah. I cannot apologize enough. I'll apologize to Lieutenant Commander Orei myself.
No,
sir.
no need to apologise to the commander. Just go get the therapy you need so
Yes,
this
sir.
is not as much of a hang-up.
Thank you, sir.
And remember to go talk to Edwards.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir. Just to be clear,
Once he's
not
out
about
of the
not
room.
about other things, just about the science stuff, right?
That's the one.
Thank God. Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. Thank you.
Once he's gone. Bye, Mr. Bertram.
Bertram here.
I've got a Lieutenant Minot heading your way. Please be discreet and calm. And I would recommend you sign him up without the in-person treatment for what he's asking.
Is there something I should be aware of? A medical issue?
Just some cultural hang-ups that he needs to get dealt with before it becomes a diplomatic incident.
Very well.
If you can go for a holodeck approach, that'll at least let him deal with it on his own time rather than getting nervous and twitchy about it.
Okay.
I will be professional, of course.
Meanwhile, the captain is in her ready room. Actually, this looks more like her quarters. This is the captain's quarters.
It's the ready room. She's just really relaxed.
She just made her quarters look identical to the ready room.
Oh yeah, the captain's
She
room.
just lives in the ready room.
Yeah, the captain's quarters are absolutely Spartan. Because she doesn't actually understand, she still doesn't has that mentality of being military. There is probably like a
half
flap.
of the Navis crew shares too much, and the other half is depressed as hell.
Yeah. The captain probably really does suffer from massive amounts of PTSD, just doesn't process it properly. I mean, either she's a flesh bag being controlled by a cybernetic system, or she's a cybernetic system that's controlling a flesh bag. No. She's left-handed, which means that the right side of her brain is controlling it, but that's the cybernetics. So is it the is she telling the cybernetics to do this, or is the cybernetics telling her body to do what it should do, you know?
Wow.
So what
Who
you're saying
knew
is we need to
Andrews
sign
was
you-
so philosophical?
I was going to say, we need to sign you up with that philosophical course you've been avoiding.
The one that's hosted by Tannenbaum and is labelled Major Therapy.
All right. The captain... Sorry, what was that, Shaun?
That's where Tannenbaum is.
locked up in the captain's.
Minoko to the captain.
Go ahead.
I've got a problem with Mr. Lachude. Could I get you to come down to the mess hall, please?
He's still sat in his chair. Just
Drunk out of his mind.
On my way, Lieutenant.
Right, so let's clear a load of folks out of the mess hall before we get there.
Oh god, please don't tell me he's dead. Sat in the shed.
Let's see, we're gonna need Lenny to be on helm. Stevens and Edwards are down in engineering doing their thing. The captain is gonna be coming in through the door. Engineering are busy doing their thing, so let's have all the engineering guys be otherwise engaged. So we've just got a couple of folks hanging around here at the bar still with crews. Keshen's not there either, so, okay. Here in the lounge, Minoko, is at the end of the bar rather than behind it, and Gregory Lachude is very much got an entire bottle in his hand and is swaying in his seat, but he is drinking from a bottle now rather than from a glass. Oh, Minoko intercepts the captain as she comes in. Thank goodness. I think Lieutenant Lachude was supposed to report for duty like an hour ago, but every time I try and get him to move, he asks for another drink, and I cut him off, at which point he started to get rather heated. That's when I decided to call you.
Mm-hmm. This is probably more of a security or a commander vibe. I'm curious, Mr. Minoko, was he drinking from the left-hand side of the bar or the right-hand side of the bar?
Well, let's put it this way: it's not the synthahol he's drinking.
Which we both know is illegal on Federation vessels.
Yes, sir. But you've let me slide so far.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure I don't know to what you're referring either, Captain, but, yeah. I only ever see him like this once a year.
Do go on.
Well, that's as much as I know, because Gregory doesn't talk all that much, so... And I don't want to get security involved unless I really, really have to. Vipers at the moment is, I think he was dealing with somebody. I thought it might... Gregory respects you, sir, as a captain. I thought it might go down better if it comes from you. Just give it a try.
I think that will catch sort of like Andrews off guard slightly when Minoko is like, Lachude respects her. I'm like, Lachude has respect. Like, what?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, guys tell their bartenders a lot of things. I'll be over here if you need me, waiting just in case you need help, but, see what you can do first.
Does Andrews know who's on the next duty roster from Lachude, after Lachude?
Probably.
Yeah. So there will be a message to them that their shift has been pulled forward due to an issue relating to Lieutenant Lachude, and that they're to report on.
Okay.
6 hours ahead of time.
You get a very sleepy response, but you get a yes, sir.
It's sort of like there's no rush. Just make sure that it's covered in due course.
So Gregory Lachude is Yeah, his moustache is bent in one place, and he's opened up the collar of his uniform. He stinks of alcohol.
Shall we put the bottle down, Lieutenant?
Hmm? Oh, Captain. By all means, have a seat.
Shall we put the bottle down, Lieutenant?
I will put the bottle down when the bottle is empty. And the bottle will then be done. Because that's how it works.
Shall we walk and talk?
No, no. This is a special day. And the special day only finishes when I wake up unable to remember what I did the day before.
So Andrews is going to pick him up and slung him over her shoulder.
He resists and tries to pull away. No! You don't. You do not get. You don't get to pull me away from this special day. You can't. You absolutely cannot. The last captain didn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't either. I have to do this. It's a very, very special day.
What special day is this?
Alright, Andrews will play game. We'll request that they move to a table more away from the...
Run him through his own contaminant filter.
Yeah. Yeah, so like to the table up here, etc.
Table up where, sorry? Ping again?
Up here.
All the way at the end. Okie dokie.
Yeah, just so that we're away from the...
Ooh, comfy chairs. This is much better. I could actually fall back. He's still got the bottle in his hand, bearing in mind he's got a vice grip on it.
Can I sleight of hand to swap it for a Simferhole bottle?
You can try, but he's actually rigidly holding on to it, but by all means. Control and security, that thing. Physical enhancement.
Control and security. Any foci? Advanced hand-to-hand combat? Would that be... Battlefield tactics? Or
Battlefield tactics. What's that over there? Swap the bottle. Why not? Wow, you swapped the bottle. So, here's to you, boys. Another year of trying to forget you ever existed. Chug, 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 chug.
What's the star date out of interest? And is there any particular anniversaries?
Stardate 51108.7. As far as you remember, the thing that happened on this day in history was the. This is technically the day that the armistice was called between the war between the in the war between the Federation and the Cardassians.
Do I know that Latude served in the Cardassian War?
You do know that he served in the Cardassian War. Captain Ducasse mentioned it before.
Cardassian War. Where would Andrews have been at that point? Probably on the operating table.
Probably.
Missing, presumed.
Probably still an agent at that point, actually, of Starfleet intelligence. So. I have to drink until I fall unconscious, because that's the only way we get through this day. So if you excuse me, Captain, this is actually very comfy, so I'm just gonna nicely pass out by here. It's very nice of you to visit. I do hope you enjoy my quarters while I'm out.
You do realise that you're not dealing with your grief, you're repressing it, Lieutenant.
Absolutely. I am repressing it as only alcohol allows me to.
But it's not coming to terms with it. You're not dealing with the issue. Do you care to talk to me about what happened during the Cardassian War?
I don't want to. I'd rather forget. But it's so difficult to forget. Their
Lieutenant.
faces are seared into my brain.
Lieutenant, I'm missing almost a third of my body from the conflicts of the Battle of Sector 00, of the Battle of War 359. We all have scars.
No, we all have scars, and you got more scars than anyone. I mean, look, you one big scar, and you manage. I can't manage this. I try every year to manage it, but it's so damn hard. I was supposed to keep them safe.
We all deal with our grief. But are you really remembering them, or are you just trying to drown out the fact that what happened happened? We all make mistakes. We learn from the mistakes that we make.
That was it. That was it, you see. That's the point. I was not supposed to be the one who makes mistakes. That's why I was chosen. This is the reason I was the best at what I did, you see. You should know, you were a secret agent too. I was a secret agent. But I wasn't like you see. I wasn't into the whole chop socky wapa. No. No. You see, I was good at computers. I was the best at computers, you see. That was my job. My job was to hack and surveil, and I thought I had them safe. And the Cardis, I should have seen it. They played to my vanity. If I wasn't so up my own arse about myself, I'd have seen it coming a mile away. But nope. I was so sure of myself, I disabled the securities and I let them walk right in. You know, we still haven't learned what happened to them all these years later. Because it was a black op. So we couldn't admit that they were captured. If they were captured. If there's any mercy in this universe, they would have bitten down on their termination capsules and just died right then and there. But the Cardis, oh, we know how whitey the Cardis are. And even after the signing of the armistice, their names weren't there. Because they can't be admitted to have conducted an operation in enemy territory. And so I'm the only one who is allowed to remember.
Have you tried reaching out to Starfleet Intelligence?
Can neither confirm nor deny. Sound like anything you've heard before. So, here I am on the anniversary, doing what I do best, which is doing what everybody else is doing, which is just forgetting they ever existed.
If you forget that they never exist, then the mission will have been purely in vain, Lieutenant.
But it wasn't. Weren't you listening? It was in vain.
Lieutenant, they all knew what the mission entailed. They trusted you.
How do you know?
How do you know if the mission was classified under a Black Ops code?
Because that's what That was the mission I was given. That was the mission we were given. That was the whole point. Hack into the facility, let the guys do their job, and then I was to erase all traces we were ever there.
Thanks for the prompt there, Davis. That's definitely going to be used, yes. Yeah, Andrew is going to physically pick him up and drag him to the holodeck and start the program for the Tomb of the Unknown, Starfleet Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Go on. Not sure I'm aware of that.
It's just basically, it's like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So it's like where people can go to remember soldiers that died in the Second World War. I would assume that Starfleet would have one.
Okie dokie. Oh, okay then.
The idea of having a big monument to remember the people who can't be named.
Like Orei.
Orei's being part of this. He's
The
not
man
being
that
told.
has no name.
Orei. Alright then. Luchud resists at first and insists on taking the drink with him, but as soon as you get him to the holodeck and run the program, he does stay. He tries to salute, but doesn't quite manage it because he's still got a bottle in his hand, but eventually he does break down crying. And after a while, bit of an awkward silence, but he does consent to be led back to his quarters so that he can sleep this off.
And Andrews will suggest to him that when he is more sober, that he lets her know the names of the people involved on the party.
Okie dokie.
Who's my spook friend that I've got a favour with?
Tell me.
I mean, I've got extra favour with Admiral Hebert. I might burn a favour with Admiral Hebert to find out.
Sure. There's Admiral Ross as well. So you've got people you can contact, I'm sure. Not to mention the fact that Admiral Horatio Ducasse is also involved with Starfleet intelligence. So
yeah, but me and Admiral Ducasse don't get on.
yeah. So okay.
Actually, yeah, well, I've got other Ducasse.
You've got the other Ducasse, yes, absolutely.
I don't have favour with that Admiral.
No, you don't. That's a good point.
No, I don't have favour with our old captain.
No. Where's she gone, eh?
Yeah. Who's Captain? She's Curtis Des Moines. Is that head of the Daystrom Institute?
That is, yes. Oh, that's a damn good point. I didn't give you the briefing. Never mind, I'll do that afterwards. Meanwhile, the primary science labs. Lieutenant or Commander Orei is, since he is not currently needed on the bridge or anywhere else, is free to continue with his own stuff. So it seems like now would be a really good time to see if we can't finish up your experiment.
Woo! Dang it.
You were so close. So let's see if we can't get this. It was Reason and Science when you were doing the focus of quantum physics, so...
I'm certainly not going to ask Mono for help. That guy.
This is where your parting gift is to nominate your own replacement.
What's that?
Oh, look at
Jenny Eric
that.
has been promoted to lieutenant.
Well, you not only succeed, you succeed in record time. Look at that. 4 successes. Damn. So, yeah.
Everyone, roll complications.
Building on what you've already realized, the whole quantum side of it was, like I mentioned before, dealing with the fact that somehow, about a century or so ago, when hologrammatic communication and interfaces were quite common. Was that 1 century ago? It's probably more like 1.5, maybe more. The Romulans were able to listen in on that kind of stuff, which meant people went back to 2D. And that's where the LCAR system also came out of as well. But you have now completed your attempt at creating a safe hologrammatical interface for the LCAR system. And, yeah, it's done. It's
Alright,
working.
yeah.
Tests are complete. There's been no faults that haven't been dealt with. It's come out of testing. The bugs have been fixed. It's ready for publishing.
Excellent, thank you.
And you have an incoming message from Starfleet Science. Orei waves goodbye, heads off to Risa. Well, my job here is done.
Yeah. Bye.
Must go. My planet needs me.
Yes. And
I
nobody
gets
needs to...
a communication from Earth, of all places. Starfleet Science Operations. From none other than head of Starfleet Science Operations, Dr. Rick Sternbach. He has sent you a message saying that he's just received word that... well, he's not just received word. He's heard a lot about your proposed 3D interface and is very interested in finding out how far you've got with it, and if Orei would like to transfer to Starfleet Science Ops, because his Orei's hologrammatical interface is being noticed by a lot of people in very high places, to the point where the Starfleet the Corps of Engineers are also really, really interested in it too.
Well,
So, Dr. Rick Sternbach himself is offering Lieutenant Commander Orei a place at Starfleet Science Ops on Earth.
well, I would like to provisionally accept upon my being able to discuss this with my captain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't hide. You stuck there forever. Ah, no promotion prospects for you now, Lieutenant Commander. In fact, no, you've been demoted to crewman, and you'll be working on cleaning the antimatter containment.
Excellent. As long as Mono's there.
Mono isn't there. So, yes, Orei has to approach his captain with the news.
Never been in here.
No, well,
Oh, Captain. I was wondering if I have a few minutes of your time.
Of course, Commander.
So he'll hand over a pad that details. I just received it, and I'd like to pursue it. I think, but I would like your blessing.
Andrews will read through the pad and will ultimately say that the decision is Orei's to make. Whilst he is a valid member of the crew, she will not stand in the way of his promotion prospects.
Well, I mean, don't get all emotional about it. No.
Oh, sorry, Lieutenant. Sorry, Commander. Wiped a small tear away from her cybernetic eye and seemed
I'll
to
go
be
with the
leaking oil.
Go with the first one, Lieutenant.
No, he wouldn't have said that. Well, thank you, Captain. It's been a pleasure serving and having a crew, and you have run an amazing ship, and it's been an honor, and I appreciate it. And I would like to wish whoever takes over science the best of luck.
Do you have a recommendation of who you would like to see in the position, Commander?
Well, okay. Dr. Berg,
Yeah, for me, there are two candidates for the position, but
Kano is probably the most qualified.
Here's your selection.
That's who I would select.
Who are you again? Alright then.
Hello.
As soon as Lieutenant Commander Orei exits the captain's quarters, that's when the pad that Orei was holding,
Float.
it doesn't float, it clatters to the floor.
Well, shit.
It's still active, but it was like, that was weird.
Did he hear that?
Oh, good. I thought I was tripping out then.
Oh, hello? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no, I thought it was the captain was generally.
Okay. So, yes, right. Okie dokie. Do. So, does Orei have anybody he'd like to put into the position of Chief of Science?
Mono?
Mono.
Qualified. He's a good officer.
At which point, Mono does ask for permission to enter Orei's office.
I mean, obviously, he can just walk in. Yeah. Enter.
Thank you, sir. Listen, I've had it made very clear to me that my hang-ups are very much my hang-ups, and I shouldn't have been imposing mine against yours, especially with considering how well you've treated me as your second for all this time, and I just want to say I've learned a lot. Not about things I'd rather not know about, but that's, again, it's my hang-up, and I'm slowly learning how to deal with it, but it's, you've always had this kind of positive approach to everything that I've really envied. You came on and you were enthusiastic. You were always willing to get involved in everything, and I suppose I was envious of that. All the other guys saw me as nothing but Lieutenant Natala's second, and they tolerated me because I was like Mama's boy or something, and then you come in and everybody notices you, and I mean, hell, good God did they notice you. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but, you know. Should be doing this here, by the way.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
The entire bridge watching.
Yeah.
I do beg your pardon, that was my fault.
Eating peanuts.
The popcorn buckets are out.
Yes.
For some reason,
Someone's
Lieutenant...
sign up saying kiss.
For some reason, Lieutenant Cashin seems to have a recording device in one hand. But, there we go. I'm just... I was brought up on the Arbizan homeworld, and the Arbizani are so repressed. They just kept on reinforcing the idea that if you were important, then you were pure, you know, kind of chaste, as you were. And it got drummed into me as a kid, and I find it very difficult, that subject, and you're just so easy with it. So I don't mean like, you know, easy with... Oh God, I'm still sticking my foot into my mouth. Okay,
He's not eating.
He's absolutely eating popcorn.
Well, he's a telepath, so he's definitely eavesdropping. Look, sir, I heard from Lieutenant Cashin that Starfleet Science were headhunting you. I think you should go for it. I think what you've got to offer them is They'd be so lucky to have you because we've been lucky to have you too. And I've got really big shoes to fill if I'm being put forward as taking your place. I just hope that I can do a fifth of the job that you've done. Anyway, that's what I came to say. I'm gonna...
I have put forth you as the recommended replacement for me in this position. And I wish... yes, you are the obvious choice.
Even after everything I said? My foot firmly in my mouth every time?
You brought up valid... I need people's cultural value. That was inappropriate of me.
Well, I didn't exactly say... It's as much my fault as anybody's. I'm going to try and be more open-minded about things. It's not going to be easy for me, but I'm going to try.
But don't forget where you came from either. That's important to have that sense of groundedness.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. I'll
It's been... And I know you'll do well. You're going to be a superb science leader.
Ah, thanks, sir. Look, I'm getting all teary-eyed, and I'd rather not. I know everybody in the other lab is watching whilst they're pretending not to.
Obviously.
So rather than make a spectacle of myself, I'm gonna go back to my office now.
All right. Thank you.
No,
it was a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Damn it, he's onto us.
Bravo.
So,
no.
bravo, knock it off. Orei, after having that talk with Mono, feeling however he's feeling, reaches for his pad so that he can read the message from Dr. Stern. Was it Dr. Sternback?
It's good enough.
Oh shoot! I've lost the. Yeah, I was right, Dr. Sternback. And yeah, that was weird. You could have sworn you put that pad down right next to you a moment ago. Now it's all the way at the other end of the table.
Oh hell!
Oh no! I just realised what we're doing.
Is there a ghost?
It's fine. This isn't the first time this has happened to us.
What was that? Rip some subspace?
No idea what you're referring to.
As if teleporting our pads when we're not looking impresses us.
Do better!
Call us when you've got a pile of dead bards.
Okay then.
Please don't tempt fate. You've not checked Deck 9 yet.
Back to the captain's office.
Oh, not again! Go away!
What are you talking about? We've never been here.
Someone go bother Nova!
Nova's busy. Control machine.
Enter.
Lieutenant Commander
Oh, hi,
Claude walks in.
I see.
Sorry.
Changes her tune now.
Yeah. Andrew sits up, like leans forward. Hi, Commander. How you doing?
Oh God!
I'm not a
My
creepy
God,
soldier.
really?
Progress report, sir.
What, did you expect me to walk over and pick? Oh yeah, it's Claude actually. Yeah, good point. Actually, I'll walk over and take the progress report off of him, and then sit back down in my chair.
Is this picture slightly at an angle, or am I going mad? It's slightly askew.
That's a subspace disturbance. It's fine.
It's Claude's footsteps.
It is slightly off. Yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
was just sitting there going, am I?
It's the
Yes, you are
it's the
going
rounded
mad.
angles, but
No.
yeah, it is slightly off. It's fine.
I was actually starting to question sanity then.
Sweeping operation is still underway. According to what Lieutenant Edwards has put in place, we've got at least 1 day's worth more of work, which means we're ahead of schedule.
Thank you for the
Also,
update.
Sorry, Webby, I talked over you there.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying thank you for the update. Also, Commander?
yes, we're getting a lot of reports of equipment going missing. Technically, Security Chief Bravo should be giving this update, but he's getting so many of these notices, he's investigating himself. So he asked me to keep you appraised.
What kind of equipment is going missing?
Mostly small equipment. Pads, tricorders, stuff like that. Handheld. If I may also make a personal appeal, sir.
Speak freely, Commander.
Thank you. I would like you to try and give Ensign Cruz a chance.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, damn you, Claude.
Pushing his favour there.
Yeah. Ooh. You're burning a lot of bridges there, Claude.
Well, allow me to try and explain. My people have a different perception of time than yours.
I mean, he's a god, so, you know, like, he perceives the entire universe simultaneously.
Time to my people is not necessarily a linear thing. We can sometimes get glimpses into the past and the future. To us, they're almost part of the same moment we're all part of. I would, without going into too many specifics, would like to say that Ensign Cruz has potential, and without the right guidance, might end up making bad decisions that could have lasting repercussions. Not just for her, but others too. That's as much as I can say.
Well, thank you for pointing this out, Commander. I will take heed of your words.
Thank you, sir. I'll, get back to trawling for mines.
Yeah, in parallel as well, I will assume that Vibers has been informed of what's going on, the situation with, and that we will work together to increase the amount of security team to be going around doing investigations to ease the stress on Commander Bravo.
I've gone to where I go whenever things go missing or things are completely unexplainable.
The port of the cell.
Hi, turn over. I've got a job for you.
Oh god.
I need some stuff to reappear. I don't care where it reappears from, but I'd like it back. Can you arrange this?
Do you know where it went?
No, but here's all the reports Bravo sent me, plus the ones that you know about that I don't yet.
Which actually leads nicely into where we're going next, which is engineering. Lord is rattle on.
Yes, Vibers is putting 2 and 2 together and getting 7 and deciding Nova's probably at bowl. He's probably wrong, but
It's not my fault they've never been troll fishing.
So, yes, the Nova's first port of call is the place where, of course, the best place to start with because of the modifications made. So, with stuff going missing, weird stuff, just check in with engineering. That's when we get to engineering. So Nova kind of comes in from this door and is just looking over the list of things that have been items that have been going missing, and is about to ask, has anybody missing any? Has anybody seen any of these? When her empathic senses go off and she detects basically bedlam. And that's when she looks up and notices that everybody in engineering, Edwards included, Edwards and Stevens included, and the chief, are currently chasing their tricorders and their hyperspanners around engineering. In fact, everybody in engineering is currently trying to hold down, chase, or apprehend various bits of handheld equipment that are moving of their own volition all over the place.
Poltergeist, I correct myself.
In fact, Chief Engineer Bravo at this current moment in time is holding on to 3 hyperspanners and is trying his best to stop a 4th from getting away.
Nice, somebody made some upgrades. That time.
Little help! Shouts Chief Bravo.
The gravity in engineering's gone weird, and none of them are fault.
So, yes. What would you like to do? Be right back, no problem, Webby. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite the sight. You never thought you would see a Klingon actually chasing a tricorder as it is the tricorder is trying to get away from him. These things are literally scuttling across the floors and up walls, and people are just chasing instruments around the place.
Sorry, are they like floating, dancing, or
Nope.
As you said, so they're like legs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there a pattern to it?
Well, they're not all heading in the same direction, if that's what you're asking. It's just that they're all moving of their own accord, almost like insects. Or animals being basically chased and trying not to be caught.
Can we run a magnetic charge through engineering?
Sure. Let's see. It seems that the consoles are still working normally. It's just that handheld instruments appear to be moving all over the place, so you can still access a console, any console you like, and try and run a magnetic charge. Okie dokie. This will be why am I saying control? It's Nova.
Yeah, not bothered about frying other stuff.
Let's go with, this is probably going to be daring and engineering, running magnetics through the floor, through the hull, through just engineering.
Through everything.
Through everything. Okay.
Yeah.
We had electronics once. Wait a minute,
We
engineering.
had entertainment once.
I was going to say, yeah, I was about to say that. Warp core's got about to go a bit.
I
Warp
think
core
that's what
secured,
Edwards'
it's
role
fine.
is.
We weren't using it.
I'm so glad I sat back down just as that came out.
Wait till your head hits the desk. What you say that?
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
Suddenly stuck to your chair, yeah. Go for it, Shaun.
Does inner workings help with this in any way?
I will go with, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
You know how things work in this burg. 2 successes. Be right back, need no more Romulan ale. Thank you, Mike. Well, okay, so the good news is that all of the scuttling instruments that are moving of their own accord suddenly stop moving. The bad news is everything vaguely metallic now gets magnetized to the nearest piece of hull, which means comm badges go flying off of uniforms. People with cybernetic implants suddenly find themselves very, very attached to whatever they were sitting or standing next to. People who were drinking from metallic cups suddenly find the cups flying out of their hands. So, all in all, pretty much magnetic-based bedlam.
Great success.
But it did succeed at the task you were after, which was to stop all the instruments from moving around. As it happens, this was also going on in sickbay, I hasten to note.
Oh, I imagine you're mid-surgery. It's like, oh, my
Thankfully,
scalp.
not mid-surgery, but... folks everywhere around the ship would have been noticing things were where they shouldn't have been. But all of a sudden, all instruments are now locked down to where they're at.
I just imagine Bertram's just in this point going, so Mr. Munro, I've been told that you have a subtle problem. Don't worry, I'll be discreet, we'll be professional. At which point everything flies around. So, see, this is what happens when you repress the issue, Mr. Munro.
Magnetics? Wow, I had no idea.
You get high blood pressure, and that means more iron to magnetize. I totally know science stuff.
Behind the doctor.
Stuck in place, can I start examining and dismantling one of the tricorders to see if there's anything?
Part of the legs that it's grown.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first thing you notice is that the nearest instrument that you're close to, let's make it a tricorder, an engineering tricorder, has manifested simplistic little legs. But when you break it open, the legs are continuing to move, and as soon as you pull the tricorder apart, you separate the pieces out, and of course the metallic bits that are ferrous and can be magnetized do magnetize themselves to the hull. But the plastic parts of it are the parts with the little legs, and as soon as they are disconnected from the rest of the chassis, they wriggle away and start moving of their own accord again.
Nice. Run free, little guy.
So yes, the various plastic pieces of that engineering tricorder are now mobile, running around. Yes. Yes. Andrews might be having an interesting time of things at the moment, yes.
Oh god, you probably has an eye on the wall.
Not just an eye.
Half her face.
Yeah, half her face, her arm, her side.
What would you like to do?
That with Andrews, but that might actually answer your philosophical question.
I suppose walk over to a wall and issue a comm badge statement that plastic seems to be coming alive and this is great.
Okay. So that does give everybody something of a heads up. So who would like to do something with this revelation? Would science like to do something? Would anybody from
Sounds more
engineering?
biological. I think we get the doc involved in that.
Interesting option. All right.
Doctor, we'd like you to dissect a tricorder. What?
It's too late, I've already done that.
Well, yeah, quite. But here's your
has
big
any,
selection of folks to choose from. So yeah, go on. Sorry, what was that, Gareth?
Is any sick-based stuff sprouted?
Yes.
Sort of like residual stuff. Okay, in that case, probably the doctor's already sort of like getting his guys to help capture one so they can just. Well, actually, not dissect it, because if these things are somehow a new life form, we don't necessarily want to immediately just start carving it up.
Thought you were going to say vivisect, to be honest, and correct because it's alive.
Never always thought that she already has and the plastic bit ran free and happy.
Captain, I'm gonna lock out the main computer.
Oh god, we need someone to check the armory. Our parts of the torpedoes running around.
Okay,
Torpedoes
lock
with
out my
legs.
computer. And Court, I need you to assist with locking out torpedo control.
Lord salutes and gets right to that immediately. At which point he realizes
Because if
the
things
console
becoming
is
all
not.
hype-
The console's not behaving.
Is this all the consoles or just this one?
It's starting to be a lot of consoles. Anything with plastic, which
When
includes
we
the
start
rear
screaming-
covering.
So when do we start screaming Q?
Well, that depends. If you want to try this as a, does somebody want to try this as a science thing or as a biological thing?
Doctor will probably try sort of examine stuff, see if there's any sort of biological components or any other kind of more esoteric life forms, either affected or actually forming out of this.
Anybody else want to try?
I mean,
As
if
well?
we can get a tricorder or some sort of sensors to work, just start scanning the ship for anything out of the ordinary.
Cool.
Then kind of particle-wise or anything like that. It's something that will explain this.
Edward, you're running that operation at the moment. Can you make sure your shuttlecraft that are out assisting do not dock with the ship while this
That's
is
the
going
point.
on?
That's the point. Do a quick sit rep with everyone that's out there. Is it affecting the smaller ships and runabouts we're using for the trawling?
Mate.
It seems at the moment just the Navis is affected, but it could be due to any number of reasons. But there we go. Sounds like a job for Mono! I think it sounds like a job for Orei too, personally, but there we go.
He's on the way to Earth.
Well, he's not left yet.
It's just like, well,
Unless you want him to be gone now.
I don't think you've got to the transporter room at the moment. Our transporter chief is currently very, very hungover.
Can I have a reason and medicine from Bertram along with... Who was going to do the scientific side of things? I don't remember.
I was going to
It was you, wasn't it? Yeah.
scan the sensors to look around for any kind of foreign particles or any kind of odd energy readings.
Let's do
Any
that.
of my
then.
focuses count. I got some
Yes,
additional
actually. I won't tell you which one, but I will say yes, Bertram can go with a focus. Edwards...
Doesn't have a focus, I don't believe, unless there's some sort of metallurgical particle.
I'll go with metallurgical, actually.
Ooh.
Quantum
am I
mechanics.
Am I assisting?
Looks like...
Cool.
Who was quantum mechanics, sorry? Orei, actually. Quantum physics for Orei. Does Orei want to get involved one last time?
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Excellent. So reason and science with your focus of quantum mechanics, please. Combined with Edwards' metallurgy, combined with Bertram's medical knowledge. Neat. 1, 2, 3 successes. Between all of you, you managed to have a scan of the the afflicted plastic particles that are running around, and it is determined that by some weird measure of quantum particles, that it seems when you... Hang on a second, let me just make sure I'm saying this correctly. When you first made a change to the Navis's sensors in order to start detecting the subspace mines, it appears you also caught the attention of something else that lives in subspace. Some kind of strange parasitic organism that bonds itself to plastic. And then allows it to, by bonding with plastic, become mobile.
So basically, we found the nesting consciousness.
Essentially, a very primitive version of the nesting consciousness from Doctor Who, yes. At the moment, all it seems to do is just want to infect plastic and then travel so that that plastic can infect more plastic. However, with Bertram's knowledge of dimensional physics... Dimensional physics? Yes, dimensional physics.
Dimensional physics.
Orei's quantum mechanics, and to a degree Edwards's metallurgy, seeing that it more mineralogy than anything else, but seeing that it wasn't actually the metal that was at fault, it was actually the plastic that that the parasite was actually after. You should, between the lot of you, be able to come up with a means of expelling the parasite from your ship systems. So, just going to see what they just posted. Wrapped in plastic, yes.
She's dead, wrapped in plastic.
So,
I'm a twin dick.
in order to try and treat the infection, you have to create a kind of a subspace repulsion effect, where you make the Navis very uncomfortable for any such parasite to exist within, which means that you don't do anything that triggers the mines that you're trawling through and destroying bit by bit, but you do manage to expel the parasites and make sure that everybody else knows to steer clear of a specific frequency in subspace in order to make sure that they themselves can't get a similar parasitic infection. And so, we come at last to evening, the change of shift. And this has been something of a weird day. But we also have one last activity that we can undertake.
Did we get rid of the plastic?
What was that, sorry?
Get rid of the parasite already?
You got rid of the parasite already.
I think a more important question is, aren't poker chips made of plastic? We're all gonna get killed by the chips!
We'll switch to bone ones.
Classic. So, the senior-ish crew, the senior crew and Edwards, meet around the poker table as it's basically Orei's last game with the crew before he ships out. So I now leave everything in your hands, basically, guys.
Ah, yes, I've now turned into a bald-headed man.
Well, obviously, I can't turn you into the actual crew of the Enterprise D, but at least I thought it was fun to just stick folks in similar kinds of positions.
Vibers is currently using about 5 lifetimes worth of poker playing to fleece us.
And I'm still losing.
Look at that pile of chips you've got. How can you say you're losing?
Yeah, Edwards is definitely losing in that game. I don't know, Bertram's not doing too well either. In fact, everyone is doing rubbish except for him.
What do you expect? He's
I was going to say Nova would be cheating and reading everybody's emotions as they
he's just got.
We got 2 people who can read emotions and 1 person who can apparently see through time, and Vibers is the one who's winning.
Well, I did mention that the first host spent the entire of the Kittimer Accords getting drunk and fleecing Klingons for their money. Sorry, diplomatic attaché and assistant.
He has a bunch of trick cards he's got out of the contraband sack in his quarters.
He doesn't need the trick cards. He's got an entire lifetime of fleecing Klingon soldiers out of money.
Andrews is using for the good of the Federal Go Fish. Nice. Maybe that's Nova's problem.
I've been through this before.
I've got a talent in this because I just explained. This is why Nova's not doing well. You keep playing Snap.
Try something risky. Flip the table and just grab the chips.
Just flip the table, yes, because we're not allowed to flip the table.
This is why it's folded down in this holodeck.
It's interesting how people's values are coming into play at a poker game.
People are the eternal mystery.
I mean,
So it's like
Gareth, go on.
you first.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, what do these chips symbolize if the Federation doesn't use money?
I mean, I was going to say this is a 20th century game. Why the hell have we got this out? This belongs in a museum.
Because it was this or the hot tub.
That is a
I
point.
concede
We
my
were
point.
able to actually play cards before using this, weren't we?
Oh God. So,
They symbolise the tears of our enemies.
so if we can get Orei down enough, he has to put in his promotion into the pot. To
Why do
balance
people
the
keep
account.
typing as me? Type as yourself.
Actually, speaking of Orei, what are you looking forward to first once you get settled in your new position?
That's a good question. I think experiencing Earth. I don't have much experience with Earth. I'd like to see some sights, be a tourist for a little bit.
Yeah, give Natalia a call. I thought you out.
I can highly recommend
If
American.
I've got the right name for
Natala.
Natalia. Yeah,
Natala's on Starbase, isn't she?
Oh, what was that, Shaun?
it's in the same system.
And Nova would be highly recommending American sports, especially wrestling and American football.
Now, I know that Davis made a name drop faux pas, but when you said give Natalia a call, knowing who Orei is and what he does, I almost thought that you were sending Orei to the Russian red light district. Ask for Natalia when you get there.
Say virus sent you. And do this special handshake.
Sure, let's not say nothing.
So that's another cross-franchise reference for tonight. Then we marvel at that one.
Earth has become something of a melting pot, so it's definitely a good place to soak in the culture, from all I gather.
I keep clicking Orei, but he keeps coming up the captain.
Interesting. Try
You need to
deselecting
select
everybody
Orei.
and then select Orei alone. Yeah.
Still not.
Either way.
Hey, I want him to click himself, not me. I can click on Orei.
What for the
Do you ever feel that you're just a little sort of player in a large game board of the universe, at the whims of the players?
My Dr. Bertram, I had. Actually, hang on a second. I've got a character here.
Why, Dr. Bertram, I had no idea you looked at things so omnipresently.
I've been trying to actually break out of the box. I know that I'm the Moss Doctor, but occasionally, well, it's becoming more and more obvious that I've been neglecting other aspects of, of existence and experience, kind of going against the whole point that I left the colony in the first place.
I think we've all become a little task-focused, Doctor.
So are you finally?
I
giving
know
Russian
you've not
a
been
chance?
paying attention to the game. By the way, Full House.
What was that, Shaun?
Just asking him if he's finally going to give mushrooms more of a chance.
He just wanted to be a fungi.
No, I just want the glowing mushrooms to turn me into a light bulb.
So,
Oh, right.
Captain, we need to put Stevens in for a second, yeah?
Talking about the
Oh, that joke
promotion.
wasn't harsh enough for you. Right, go.
Edward's caught it if nobody else did. So the deck has been shuffled, apparently.
Yeah, and you did. It won't let me deal. I don't think. Well, I can only deal to myself.
How
Give
do you
me a
deal?
sec.
Nova,
Give me a
you've
sec.
got a dose of glowing mushroom food.
Deal.
I can
Yes,
draw
got
2
it.
cards.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hadn't got it clicked, so I just dealt it to. That's coming from me rather than. Oh well.
If you ever need more help with this sort of research, I'd be more than happy to assist.
I might take you up on that once I finally crack the biological Evo suit project.
It's weird
Out of
having a
interest,
moment of.
why are you making a biological EVA suit, Doctor?
Well, on more than one. Well, other than the fact that I think it's always good to have more options than less, and I think that the Federation, for all its strengths, is too much towards conventional technology and not enough towards the biological, which is more philosophy of mine. But there's also, practically speaking, there's also the fact that on more than one occasion we've come across environments which are hostile to technology. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing to have alternatives that can survive in environments that, either through design or through just plain chance, disrupt our conventional technology.
Let me quickly re-edit that.
Have you considered making it symbiotic so that it could potentially benefit both?
I have. I mean, the first part of the project was actually creating the template plants and combining it with the biotechnology that we rescued from the alien terraforming ship a little while back. So it's actually an extension of the project that I started to create generic baseline biological implants to the body, kind of a cross between standard organ replacement and a biological version of, say, cybernetics, but make it a more universal one so that the body wouldn't reject, that could affect, you could be planted as standard to multiple species. So I suppose in a way, because that's the medium that would be interacting with the body as a replacement for the sensors of life support equipment, I suppose you could say, yeah, it is symbiotic in that way. To actually create a true full symbiotic life form, that would require a long time, even once the genome was cracked, to actually build up the life form and make sure it doesn't turn parasitic.
Interesting. Perhaps the parasitic entities that inhabited the plastics might be a good thing to investigate to stop that.
Possibly, yeah. Although because of the urgency, we had to focus more on repelling them, especially because we didn't want to be messing around with them at the same time as dealing with subspace mines.
Imagine there'd still be some data.
Yeah. Who knows
As
what the
long
data
as they
might be.
don't inhabit the warp core and walk off with it, we're probably okay.
We could always just send Stevens and Edwards troll fishing again.
It did seem to be quite effective.
Hey, you wouldn't need to go trawl fishing. You need bait. Just put a bunch of plastic on a tether and wait for it to come back to us.
Hey, you didn't catch a single cod.
Apparently, Lieutenant Orei's fallen unconscious.
Oh yeah,
That's in the water too long.
Incidentally, to those who don't remember or don't know, there is a card stacks area that you can find your card stacks in. And in the right hand column, there is the card stacks. It's
I don't think
between.
anyone's actually dealt anything yet.
No, I'm not sure what's I can't remember how to actually play with the
You can
cards. But
draw. So the playing cards, you've got the middle pile, which is basically the table. So you have to have that done. If you shuffle the cards from the deck, playing cards, shuffle, deal. Number 3, deal. So that's now dealt into the middle pile, I think. No, we do it that way. Deal to there. Number 3, deal.
so you can find your card piles in that section next to the left of the icon that looks like a musical note.
Yeah, then we'd all have to just draw. If we're actually doing it as poker, then it'd be
Just fake your rounds.
yeah, spin around. Yeah.
But if anyone's wondering what's going on with the cards and the stacks and stuff like that, you can actually see.
I'll raise 5.
Go fish.
Let's play D&D.
Let's play D&D. Well, as they established in Lower Decks, there is actually it's a Klingon game where you roleplay as Klingons. You get General Martok as the AI games master. So there you go.
Awesome.
I forget which episode that's in now. Go on chat. Feel free to let me know. So yeah.
Okay.
That's a nice send off. Thank you guys.
And fade to black, I take
No
it.
problem.
Yeah. I mean,
Except around Nova, who's currently got like a glowing mushroom.
Hang on. I can do this. Give me a second. Let's make it. What's a nice luminous color? Let's go with that.
nothing's changed.
It's
Because
not
he's
changed
updated
yet.
it.
Give me a second.
Right.
Let's make it
Oh.
weird. Hang on.
That's like
So let me change this to a little farewell music I just prepared earlier.
And you hear, as the camera fades out, you hear a voiceover go, "Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Navis. Its ongoing mission to fire quantum torpedoes, to seek out new crevices to shove micro torpedoes into, to boldly scratch shuttlecrafts that have never been scratched before."
So, yes.
Poisoned. Sorry, it's still like never become poisoned. I was like, well, we might need someone new in ops. We're gonna need another Nova.
Did you steal from my Bertram moss pouch rather than the glow microta? One emits light, the other eats energy.
No.
Yeah, that's the point actually. How does the captain recovering from her stroke after being?
She's more annoyed than anything else. She got, temporarily magnetised to the deck.
Yeah, but her heart's also cybernetic, so her
Well,
heart
nothing stopped working. You were just pulled to the direction of the nearest bulkhead. It wasn't an electromagnetic pulse. It was just the magnetization effect was increased just to stop things moving around. So Andrew's cybernetics didn't cease working. You were fine. You were just, momentarily attached to your desk.
It's fine, I scanned you medically, and physically there was no damage. The only damage was emotional, because this was happening to you right in front of Claude.
Yeah, Rockman just walked away from it. Yeah. Captain's pinned to the floor. Captain's pinned to the bulkhead. Going.
No. Worse than that. captain's put into Claude's arm because he was handing you something at the time. And you both pinned to the wall.
You'd enjoy that. That wouldn't be embarrassing.
That's the way Clark goes. If you think this is bad, wait
I know,
until
but-
water gets magnetised in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Andrews would be embarrassed because you'd be drooling on Claw, literally.
I've got a few requests for transfers from a number of crew members.
Well, Mike, just like we said with Jan, we are not killing off your character in any way, shape or form. We are merely putting them to one side with the hopes that we will see them again.
I would like that.
And we would very much like to have you back, I like to think.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only problem with us moving things around to accommodate you is I think other folks have other games on during the other days of the week.
That's okay. Yeah.
So unfortunately, moving Star Trek to another day is a bit difficult. And
This has been,
yeah, go
been
on.
wonderful.
It's been-
Wonderful, and this longest campaign I've ever run. I mean, played in ever.
My God.
Never played anything longer than this. So that's pretty cool. And I have always looked forward to every Tuesday to hang out with you guys.
Wow.
It's I live kind of in a remote area, so I don't I don't really have friends around me. So
Yeah, I think Jan was in a similar position because he lived and worked in South Africa, and he said that he doesn't have too many friends near him too. So this was it's a very similar situation to himself. Work changed his hours, work changed your hours. Work, eh? Always gets in the way of fun.
Work. What is it good for?
Paying the bills.
Yeah.
Providing food.
Stop it.
But
Yeah.
if things change, Mike, we will welcome you back in a heartbeat.
Yep.
thank you guys. It's been wonderful.
Good
Thank
fun
you.
having you, mate.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
I'm gonna go cry on my cat's cover now.
Catching on.
So yeah, thanks to everybody who came, thanks to everybody who watched, thanks to Mike and the rest of the guys as well for making this so entertaining. This was something of an experiment, and it seemed to go pretty well.
Yep. I had
But
fun.
we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming as we get back to an actual episode next time.
Do next time where Bertram comes up to Andrew and goes, turns out it was completely wrong. It's all unrelated to me and Jenny. Was never interested.
It's when Bertram finds out that Andrews has actually been taking meticulous notes about the lectures she's never attended.
She's just been placing a bionic eye in the fin to watch the rest of the movie.
Not even watching, it just records.
In any case, thank you very much those who were watching, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you're watching this on YouTube, consider giving us a like. And the rest of it, because we need to appease our Lord and Master, the algorithm. All hail the algorithm.
Hail.
The algorithm.
So yes, we'll be going forward, unfortunately, without Mike, but we'll see what the future brings us. Hopefully we can see Mike and maybe Jan again as well in the future. But until then, the adventures of the USS Navis continue, and you can always catch us here on Twitch, and if you miss us on Twitch, on YouTube as well. And who knows, in the future we might actually end up on Moonbeam too when that starts. Time will tell. Until then, we ask you to do like the Vulcans do, which is to live long and prosper, and in this case, engage in awkward conversation until people leave the table.
That's funny.
And also to engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. This world continues to be a really wacky, random, chaotic place that needs a bit of silliness and hope in it. And this is where we like to think we come in. So until then, we will catch you next time on the stream and on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again. Hailing frequencies are now closed.